What happens to your family once you defect?
Like if you escape, would they send like a whole entire like police force, or will they send like one police?
There is no freedom of movement. There is no freedom of speech. There is no freedom of religion.
Can you communicate with people in other countries?
I was wondering if there's any like reunification sentiment in North Korea.
You and your family could be persecuted for having a Bible. Not just you, but 3 generations will go to political prison camp.
Do they have the internet in North Korea?
No, they do not.
So what do people do? How do they get information?
They don't. That's the problem. That's the problem that we're trying to solve.
There you go.
Right. Because there's no freedom of information.
Do they have kids? Like, do they get pregnant?
Yeah.
Do they want to?
Yeah, I think, well, I mean, I've actually heard that North Korean people don't want to have kids anymore because, like, how are they going to support them, right? So the birth rate is declining in North Korea.
I heard online that like your phones are like always like you can't yeah. It's always recorded.
Controlled.
Exactly, yeah. You know your stuff. That's good.
I heard it online.
You heard it online? Yeah.
YouTube Shorts.
Oh, YouTube Shorts. There you go.
My dad really thinks it's brain rot.
It's a brain rot. Yes, your phone is monitored. It takes a screenshot, right? Your cell phone that North Korea does have cell phones, right? Elites use it, but those kind of cell phones are taking screenshots of your phone at a random given moment, and it saves to a folder that user, right, does not have access to. Right? Only the admins has access to, right? So the regime can actually go into your phone and say, oh, you saw this during this time. You're gonna get in trouble.
Like you don't have the complete free ability of a regular phone.
You do not. Yeah, there is no internet. Well, there is a thing called intranet, right? Intranet. It's available within the country, and the internet is blocked off. And there is like a lot of on the cell phones, like you can't access Google. There is no, they can't access the net. But there is like a North Korean propagandist, right? It's all about propagandas. Yeah.
What happens to your family once you defect? I know I've heard some things that they might send you to some camps or anything like that, but how does that work for your family?
It's more humane than that, right? And there's a lot more rules to it. Just like then, like, oh, you defected, your parents defected, like your family member defected in North Korea, you go to prison. It's not like that. So yes, if you were to defect to South Korea or to America and you're speaking up against the regime, yes, your family will be in trouble. But I mean, there are like 40,000 North Korean defectors that are living in South Korea, right? Not all of their families are persecuted, right? But it's only when you are speaking against the regime, right, and try to testify your stories. That's like what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But the lucky thing is that I don't have any immediate families back in North Korea.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
So my mom died when I was like 11, and my dad abandoned me when I was 5, and my half brothers are Chinese, so they're okay.
Awesome.
How many troops are stationed at the DMZ?
That's a great question, and how do you know DMZ? I'm just really curious.
Well, I read a lot.
Gotcha. So, as you may know, the DMZ is the most heavily fortified, right, militarized zone in the world. I don't know the exact numbers, but a lot. Like, there is like a whole miles of landmines, and there are very few success escape stories across the DMZ.
Right.
But the most common route of people escaping is through China, right? So North Korean refugees go to China, and then they go to Thailand, and then from Thailand they go to South Korea. So great question. I don't know.
Right.
Do you know?
No, I don't, but I'm sure it's in the thousands.
Oh, if not hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean both sides, right? And you know what's really interesting though is if you go to South Korea, right, you can actually visit DMZ as a foreigner.
Right.
And whenever you go there, and I also have friends who went to South Korean militaries, and those friends who went to South Korean militaries, they tell us the stories of how North Korea tries to spread propaganda through like microphones, like loudspeakers of playing music, hey, come to North Korea, we're great, it's better than.
It's a sad thing that it has to exist, but they are using it as a model for Russia and the Ukraine is to create a DMZ and end the war.
I see. Is that what's happening right
Yeah,
now?
they're negotiating that.
Trying to do
And
the DMZ.
That's one of the solutions that they're coming up with, because Putin's not going to want to give up any land.
Right.
And the Ukrainians don't want to give up any land.
Right.
So you just do DMZ.
Yeah, to
and-
save more
and
lives.
Save lives and
Yeah.
end the conflict.
And the war.
So,
yeah.
Putin doesn't want to lose face.
Yeah.
He doesn't, that he's been pushed back to Russia.
I mean, considering like how small Ukraine is,
Right.
and considering like how massive Russia has like they claim that they have military powers, which
Right.
I wouldn't doubt, because
Right.
Russia has been,
Right.
a supporter of North Korea for a long time too. And turning to North Korea and asking inexperienced combat soldiers, right,
Right.
out to Ukraine, that's another whole nother level of desperation,
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know, maybe we could just push all the way through and no more Russia. But I'm sorry, that was just a joke.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, but he's moving forward with this.
Yeah, I mean he's doing good things,
Yeah.
and considerably, and
Yeah.
trying to raise awareness about what's happening in North Korea.
Right.
So yeah, I appreciate the question.
Like if you escape, would they send like a whole entire like police force, or will they send like one police officer?
For your family, right? That's a great question.
After you.
Oh, after me? No, I don't think so. I mean, like, I'm here.
But
and I'm
wouldn't they with like other people if it's like someone
Like
someone
they chase
important?
him?
Yeah.
You're talking about
the
they chase
chase? Oh, after me? No, they can't, because when they come to South Korea, right? They don't want to chase after them because
Because they should go across the border, then South Korea can legally kill them, right?
right, it would be a war,
Yeah.
right? It's legally. So North Korean soldiers are not allowed to invade. It's an invasion, right? At that point, because when North Korean defectors comes to South Korea as like a political asylumee or political political asylee, that means South Korea will give them the citizenship, right, and right to live in South Korea. If North Korean regime comes after them in South Korea, that means North Korean regime is invading South Korea, right? So they're not allowed to do that. Yeah. Great question.
Question: Why
Yes.
did you have to escape North Korea?
Okay, great question. So North Korea is a dictator and authoritarian
Okay.
country, right?
Like
and
government?
I wouldn't call that government. I would call them regime, right?
Okay.
Because they're oppressive and authoritarian,
Yeah.
right? And there is no freedom of movement. There is no freedom of speech. There is no
Yeah.
freedom of religion. You and your family could be persecuted for having a Bible at your home,
Yeah.
right? Not just you, but 3 generations will go to political prison camp,
Oh my goodness.
right? And if you were to say a bad thing about North Korean regime, like out in the public,
Yeah.
you will get
Oh, like
you will get
Really?
publicly, yeah, because of that.
That's
So
crazy.
with that in mind,
yeah. How'd you escape?
I escaped by swimming across the Yalu River that divides North
way.
Korea and China.
Is that far?
So the river was relatively close.
Yeah.
It was very it was narrow. Yes,
Yeah.
it was narrow. But the current was really fast. And then the second time I did the same thing.
They don't have people like guarding it.
They do. Yeah, there is people with AK-47 every 100 meters of the river.
Wow.
And then at one point I got caught. And then the
took
second time escaping, the guard actually screaming at me to turn back, and
Yeah.
he's gonna shoot me.
Yeah.
But I knew at that point I was dead either way.
Did you escape by yourself or did you go with somebody?
So first time I had some help of escaping North Korea,
Yeah.
but second time it was by myself.
Is
Yeah.
it still like that?
Right now, it's kind of impossible to escape because Kim Jong-un actually tightened the border,
Oh,
right? So
really?
Kim Jong-un is the current dictator,
Yeah.
right? And then Kim Jong-il was his father when I escaped North Korea. So
Yeah.
if you were to go on the United Nations website of like how many North Korean defectors escaped North Korea by year, like in the 1990s, like a lot, early 2000s, a lot, but coming down to like 2020, it's like it plummeted to like zero.
Oh my god.
Plummeted to zero.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you escaped.
I
and
know.
you're here
Yeah.
now.
Hey, check out my YouTube and
I will.
TikTok and
I will.
everything.
I'll look you up.
Okay.
What city do you live in?
I was born and raised in a city called Changjin. So I'm not sure if you ever heard about the Chosin Reservoir battle during the Korean War. It's really cold. It snows during May, and it snows in May. Yeah, so it's that town, Chosin Reservoir. It's really famous. If you're to look up Chosin Reservoir, that's the place that I was born and raised.
You'll keep up with like North Korean politics. Like, are you aware of what's going on over there? Things like that.
Kind of, kind of. Yeah.
So, how would you feel? You know, Kim Jong Un's daughter, or not daughter, sister, right?
Great question. Kim Yo-jong. Yeah, Kim Yo-jong, right? Or no? My gosh, if this happened in North Korea, I would be. If I could remember the name of the leader's sister, I'll be. Like her becoming like the next dictator.
So
of North Korea.
how do you feel about that? I know she's like terrified. She's crazy. So.
Yeah, it's crazy. You're right.
Right now, Kim Jong Un is keeping us safe from a nuclear war. So
yeah,
that's a funny way to look at it.
Yeah. A lot of people say that she's very ruthless, right? And she's very outspoken and she's very scary. But I don't know if North Korean people would accept that.
Or, I mean, do they even have a say?
They don't. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the funny thing is that we might see North Korean people revolt because it's been generations now, 3 generations.
Yeah.
Now, when Kim Jong Un dies, like their sister's gonna take over. It's not like the Korean era where there was generational kings, right? Because we were taught that they were born special. Like when dictators were born, there was like a star rose, and it was the savior was born. The
Yeah, I mean that's how they viewed Kim Il Sung. He was a religious figure pretty much. So.
Right.
And when he died, everyone was. I mean, they made it out to be, at least like Western media made it out to be, that when he died, everyone was faking the whole crying thing. But I'm pretty sure that was real.
Faking.
Yeah,
it wasn't faking because he did actually lead us, and people weren't hungry back then, right? People were well fed when Kim Il Sung took over. And believe it or not, during the 60s and 70s, North Korea was richer than South Korea, right? It's only when 1994 hit, Russian regime collapsed, USSR collapsed, to massive floods happened, North Korea lost everything, right? And when Kim Jong-il died, nobody cried. And the government officials had to come out and if you don't cry, you're gonna get in trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. So with that being said, now his father, right, Kim Jong-un's father, lost a lot of credibility from its people, right? The only reason why North Korean people are still, I personally, right, what I believe is that the only reason why North Korean people are still not revolting is because of the fear.
Yeah.
Right? But I feel like at one point, like how I did, okay, I had enough. I'm hungry and I'm done with this. I'm gonna die trying to escape North Korea again.
Yeah.
Right? So that could happen when Kim Jong-un's sister comes over. It's like, what does she know about politics? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I get it.
But I don't know. It's just my personal opinion. Great question. So
They get you back after you escape.
Chinese citizens reported me to the authorities, and
So they have spies there.
Well, when people think about North Korea, they usually think of nuclear warheads, authoritarianism, and a heartless dictator. I'm making content because I want everybody to think of North Korean people. They are ordinary people who don't know how much better life could be. If you want to help me be a voice for voiceless North Koreans, I would love for you to support me on Patreon, where you can get early access to full-length videos, all sorts of fun pictures, outtakes, and other exclusive videos. Thank you, and I hope to see you there. So
They get you back after you escape.
Chinese citizens reported me to the authorities, and
So they have spies there.
well, technically not a spy. If you were to report, right, to the regime, Chinese government, oh, there is a North Korean, you will get a reward. Yeah, I don't.
So like North Korea, like if you like a couple dollars or something.
Chinese,
Why
yeah.
don't Chinese want to keep you?
Because North Korean regime and Chinese government, they signed a treaty called French Treaty back in 1970s that if for any reason North Koreans comes to America, comes to China, without proper documents, they will send them back, regardless of what.
What the reason is?
And vice versa, because they're allies, they're friends. So
But then they didn't want to take pity on you or have mercy.
yeah, I mean, again, like if Chinese people started accepting refugees, there's gonna be a flood of refugees, and China can't deal with that, right? So both political reasons in North Korea and China, and also I don't think China wants to like deal with like floods of refugees that are coming into because imagine all like 25 million people wanted to leave North Korea,
Only 25 millions?
and that's including the regime. That's including Kim Jong-un.
Can you communicate with people in other countries?
No. Well, I mean, you can by letter or by approved North Korean methods. Yeah, it's like they will be monitored the calls. Yeah, it's very censored.
I guess like you didn't hold like any position of like power or anything.
Me?
Like I mean like as in your family wasn't in politics. You were just normal citizen.
Yeah. So, well, in fact, my grandfather helped write national anthem of North Korea.
Are you kidding? Wow.
No, yeah, my maternal grandfather. But when he was, but he got exiled, right, for being into like foreign stuff too much. That's why I was born. Because like North Korea, if you look at it, it's like a caste system, right? There's like a higher class, middle class, and lower class. And I was born to that lower class because my grandfather committed a crime, and that crime, because North Korea, there is a still generational punishment, right? That exists.
Yeah.
So if my grandfather committed a crime, then I actually get the consequences as well. So anyway, so yeah, to answer your question, once they did held a great social and economical power in North Korea, because my grandfather was like, really well off, like a musician. And my mom was an actress. She sang, she played violin. And my grandmother was my maternal side of the grandmother, she was a translator between North Korean government and Chinese government. So they were a big deal, but they got cast away. Yeah.
All right, I got one more question.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, when your North Korean athletes go abroad, like World Cup, Olympics, what have you, like how do you make sure they don't get away? What do they report back to? Are they going to talk about all that stuff?
Great question. A lot of them are like really surveillanced, right? They're closely surveillanced. Like they cannot talk to anybody outside. They cannot hold a conversation. The athletes are very, very well monitored. Yeah. And they actually give like a great benefits in North Korea, right? Because they are representing North Korea, so they are treating them like like really, really well, like better than any like middle class Americans, right? And they give them families, and they take care of their entire families so that they don't escape, right? If they do escape, then their family will be killed or sent to political prison camp.
Now, did they kill those guys that lost 7-0 in the World Cup?
No. That's a misconception that people have about North Korean athletes, is that no, they wouldn't be killed, because think about like the resources, the time, right, the energy went into trading these guys, and then like they get shit out for sure. Like they would get shit out of like bringing like disgrace to North Korea for losing, right? But they wouldn't be in any kind of trouble. Yeah.
And are you allowed to leave North Korea? Like,
no, you're not.
No passports, no nothing?
No passports. Like when I was in North Korea, the passport were like, what is passport? Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I just heard they're very underprivileged, mostly outside of Pyongyang. But when I watched some videos on YouTube about like people visiting Pyongyang in North Korea, I went through my little North Korean obsession. Yeah, and they.
Well, now you get to talk to a real one.
I know. I've only met South Koreans, not North Koreans.
Wow.
You're my first North Korean that I ever met.
Yes, I'm so honored.
Yeah, I do. I've heard that pretty much anybody outside of Pyongyang isn't really gonna have a good lifestyle, and they're gonna live in poverty and even famine. Is that true?
I actually appreciate that, because yes, I really like how you didn't generalize North Korean people, right? You said outside of Pyongyang. That's true. Some people live better life in North Korea, right? Some people live far better life than any middle class Americans in North Korea.
Right.
But the truth is, that's only in Pyongyang and maybe a few other like cities, bigger cities in North Korea, like Sariwon, Cheongjin, Hamhung, like different cities, right? But small towns like, where I grew up, like I lost my mother because, due to starvation and disease. She passed away when I was 11. right? So I know, and I grew up really hungry. Like I was homeless, when I was 11, and yeah, I was homeless. So it does happen, right? There is severe food insecurities in North Korea, but famine doesn't happen.
Oh.
Yeah, so famine did happen from 1994 to early 2000, and United Nations estimates that anywhere between like 600,000 to 3 million people were starved to death. The numbers are different depending on what website you go to.
Yeah.
But the military, all the aid that we give them goes to military, right? Not to people. So
Right.
starvation is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, I was recently in South Korea.
All right.
And I was talking to an older gentleman who was explaining to me how some of the older generations are talking about reunification and some of the younger generations are kind of seeing the countries as two separate countries. And I was wondering if there's any like reunification sentiment in North Korea.
When I was there, yes. But I know that now Kim Jong-un, he doesn't want the reunifications to happen, right? He wants to just be two different countries. But when I was in school, when I was in North Korea, because I left North Korea back in 2011, everything, like they wanted the reunification. We were taught that North Korea and South Korea is one land, but because of America is, America is kind of like in South Korea, taking over like South Korea. You know what I mean? Because of America, we can reunify.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now North Korea calls South Korea the puppet state, and they don't want the reunification. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're less interested in reunification now than they were previously?
Previously, yeah. Yeah, that's my understanding as of now. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was explaining to me that some of the younger generations are, they
In
don't
North Korea
remember-
or in South Korea?
In South Korea.
In South Korea, younger generations, yeah.
that they don't have that closeness with their friends in North Korea or the family who might be in North Korea, stuff like that.
Right, right. You see, do you know there's a channel called Asian Boss? He did an interview like a while back, like before the pandemic,
Yeah.
a long time ago, right? And he was asking some of the South Korean youngsters, right? Hey, do you want reunification? And if you do, why, right? And some of them was like, oh, I don't really care about that, right?
Yeah.
But one of the people who do, they want the reunification because they can travel to Europe without getting on a plane. They can go through Russia.
Right.
They can go through North Korea, China, Russia, and right?
Interesting.
And not because North Korean people will be free, or not because they will have like a better education system or medical system, food securities. No. So people who, again, yeah, like you said, people who knew about North Korea, right? People who had family ties back in North Korea, those are the people who really, really wanted the reunification because they have families, right?
Yeah.
And they want to see them. They want to get reunited with the families. But younger, like those kind of people are dying out.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And
the older generations.
Right, right. So as time goes on, kind of like people forgets about it, right? So it's kind of sad, right? And North Korea especially is just like, oh, we're just going our own way, right? So as a North Korean defector, like of course I want to go back to North Korea. Like it's my home country, it's my homeland. I love North Korea with every bit of that I've every piece of my heart.
Right. Yeah.
It's just the regime that I don't like, right?
Right.
I miss my friends and I wish to go back, but I can't. Right?
Yeah.
If I were to go back, it's probably gonna be a one-way trip.
Right.
So I do wish that maybe there's a regime change. I don't know, or North Korea just lets people come back in and just like have North Korean people leave the country, without persecution.
Right.
Yeah, give them
Yeah.
passport.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my one question, though.
Hey, thank you so much for
Yeah,
asking the
thank
question.
you.